And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans, the bold new voice of independent media where left meets right. Powered by you, our commenters. My name is Nico Lagan, and I am a conservative. To my left, my co-host, Rob Ambrose, a liberal. Our goal is simple. We want to create a space where people who disagree can have a civil conversation and find solutions to the problems we face together. Topics of the day. Wildfires are burning near Halifax Bayers Lake area. Alberta set to lose $1 trillion due to Carney's emission cap. The Weather Network is showing their bias. Air Canada started canceling flights. Are the Liberals hiding our immigration numbers? Cote Saint-Luc, a small part of Montreal, passes a resolution opposing Canada's plan to recognize God or Palestine as a state. And finally, the Minnesota Viking added 2 dudes as part of their cheerleading squad. Get your comments ready. The show starts now. What's going on, man?
What's happening, Baron?
That one's really for you. Funny. I was expecting every time I'm going to add a cultural component, like a cultural story, I expect you to laugh. So I'm just saying.
I honestly, so I'd heard a few people talking about this on X, but I didn't realize it was a real story until you were going to talk about it. But yeah,
yes, sir.
Are people freaking out?
The fuck you think?
I mean, as long as they don't call these male cheerleaders female,
okay. So here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
You're in marketing. There's such a term as selling to your audience. You always want to keep in mind who is paying for your service.
Yes.
Sorry, but it's not a bunch of homosexuals that watch the NFL.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. It's terrible.
American. They don't want to see dudes. They don't want to see dudes.
It's terrible marketing.
But you know what? All the power to you. And as Sylvie says, if you want to see dudes in cheerleading, that's good. No, that's not what she said.
No, I don't think that's what she said. No.
What do you think of cheerleading?
It's my take is I think it's stupid. But I mean, I'm not gonna get too upset about it. If the Vikings want to sink their brand, like let them.
But that's true, though. Keep in mind what we were talking about yesterday. Scandinavia, which is where Vikings are originally from, have no culture. So basically, having dudes cheerleading is totally normal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
See, Bumpy, you're right. This is where people are smart. You were a cheerleader in high school. You had such a terrible time hanging out with 20 girls. I totally understood I understand your point, but there's no dudes out there that's looking at you like, ooh, yeah, fuck yeah. Like they're not, that's not the demography. Plus in your I imagine that the type of cheerleading that you do, you weren't dressed as a woman or you didn't look like
is that what it is?
Bro, they're
gonna have to show pictures. Hold on, I'm gonna
no. Just be patient.
Yeah,
I'll show you all the videos.
I'm picturing like the male cheerleaders that are like
no. You're talking that dude sucks cocks on the weekends. There's the Viking posted. I have the official video from the Viking, and the guy is in a skirt doing like. So
okay, no, yeah, that's retarded. That's retarded fun. I'm picturing like most university cheerleading teams will have guys, but there's big strong dudes that are like holding the base
or
and
lifting.
Shit like that.
That is a completely different story. Different story.
But
that is not the type of stuff you see in the NFL. There's no just big American that want to see dude that are skinny. They wear as much makeup as the women on that team. So that's funny. Do you get the joke from Wise Guy? The longest yard was future forecasting then?
I haven't seen the longest yard in so long.
What he's saying is that in the Adam Sandler version, at least, I don't remember the first version because I didn't see the original, but the Adam Sandler
that's a remake, right?
Yes. And the guy that played the first one is actually in Adam Sandler's version as well. So at least he gave him credit for that. But the cheerleaders are they're in prison. So it's a bunch of dudes dressed as women. Yes. Just like 1984, the longest yard was predicting the future. Yep.
Sylvie's like, oh no, they're going down the movie.
No.
Movie
Wise
rabbit
guy,
hole.
stop it.
The immigration
That's the
numbers.
original guy. That's the
immigration
guy.
numbers. I'd like to see that, but yeah. Are we worried that they're inflating them because they're already fucking high? Like the ones that they're telling. Oh, okay.
No, they start. So I'll give you just a quick thing before we get into it. But basically, with the numbers, it's reported. At least the Toronto Sun is reporting that they haven't produced their numbers until March. We're in fucking August. The last time they produced numbers were in May for March. And then one of the writers of the Toronto Sun contacted them, and you'll see what the answer is. Is basically, oh, we're working on it right now. You'll see. Okay. But it's
we got so many we couldn't count them all. But
it seems like it's very fishy. So you'll see when we get there. But for now, let's start with your neck of the woods.
Yep.
Halifax is. Halifax is on fire, I guess we could say. Like
there's a fire that started out near Bears Lake. It was I don't know that there's a cause yet, but it would be interesting to see if it was. I think people around here.
Climate change. Actually, just so you guys know, just in case, I've read reports that there is a whoop whoop that's going to be soon available for wildfires.
So don't worry, wildfire vaccine.
Big pharmas are coming. Big pharma's coming to the rescue.
Coming to your rescue, yeah.
Soon, you won't have to worry because you will be whoop whoop.
You'll be allowed in the woods. If you get the shot, you'll be allowed in the woods.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But I saw that meme on Instagram yesterday. I'm like, yeah, you know it's coming. I talked about it over the weekend. I'm like, what's next? A whoop whoop for wildfires, and I guess that people. We all had the same, all the assholes out there had the same idea. So we've been talking about it for a few days, but yeah. So let's start with what's going on in Halifax. And afterwards, I want to show you a video from Justin Trudeau from 2021, because nobody's talking about this, right? We're talking about wildfires. We're talking about how hikers are problematic. They don't deserve to go in the forest, at least in Nova Scotia. If you're in New Brunswick, well, sorry, it was a lie. It wasn't really about that. It's just, we can't help you. Like, we're busy. So if you break your legs, guess what? You're going to pass away in the woods. So
You'll die alone in the woods, like, bro. Sorry,
and be careful. The bears, you might get raped while you're injured. It never ends.
Bears. Yeah,
but
I choose the bear.
I choose the bear. Here is CTV News talking about what's going on in Halifax right now.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Penopalis. Thank you for joining us. We start with breaking news in Halifax this hour, where crews are battling a wildfire in Bears Lake Industrial Park, a busy area of the city. CTV's Bruce Frisco is on the scene and he joins us now. Bruce.
You're absolutely right about the breaking news, Maria. This is truly kind of a worst-case scenario, a nightmare scenario for a lot of Nova Scotians who have been watching the woods with increasing concern over recent weeks because of the lack of rain. The woods are timbered dry, and if you're familiar with Bears Road, Bears Lake, the fire is burning, I guess, closest to the Kent hardware store there on the west side of the park. You can see firefighters up there on the ridge battling one side of it there. There are a number of water bombers overhead, including one going over us right now. And apparently more water bombers en route from New Brunswick. Not sure how this particular fire started, but it's believed it broke out sometime before 3 p.m. At last report, 7 HRM fire stations had responded, along with a number of DNR crews, I think about 7 of those, DNR helicopters, and water bombers are on scene, and there are, again, more water bombers coming from New Brunswick. No homes evacuated at last report, but a number of businesses have been ordered to close, along with the health center here in Bears Lake. That emergency alert went out just a short time ago. Police have actually closed the park. The entrances are blocked off by police, but I can tell you there are still several hundred people here. And right now, all any of us can do is just kind of hope that these crews working desperately hard, can get this fire under control as soon as possible. And then after that, what we really need, Maria,
People
is
are
rain
just chilling.
and lots of
Like they're
You can say that again, Bruce. I see that the cloud of smoke seems to be moving behind you and not at you, thankfully. But can you give me an idea of what the air quality is like out there right now?
We can certainly smell it, of course, because as you noted, the wind is kind of in our favor right now. I can't imagine what it's like on the other side there. You will see occasional puffs of white smoke, which we kind of just assume are maybe areas where crews might be kind of snuffing out some of the flames. But you can still see here over my shoulder, still a lot of black, sort of sickly yellow cloud and smoke up in the sky.
Okay, I had enough. So here's that's the idea. Sylvie's asking you, how far is it from you? Like, you know that that place?
So Bears Lake is
know that
not
mall?
very far. Oh yeah. Yeah, Bears Lake. I mean, it's the main shopping area in Halifax. That's about 10 minutes from where I am, just down the highway a little bit. So yeah, that was we could see the smoke over yesterday.
Okay.
It's pretty, like you said, people are pretty on edge here. I don't know. I think people are thinking it's a little suspicious that after everything's going on, now there's a fire right there. I think there's some thought that this might be arson here.
No, that can't be. That's not possible.
But of course,
arsonists are not the main cause of wildfires in Canada.
Yeah,
not at all.
Exactly, right? So you, and it's funny because pretty much however you sit on this ban here, this Woods ban, people are taking this to support their points, right? People who support the ban,
of course,
are saying, see, that's why we need the ban, because of the fire. And then people who are opposed be like, but was it caused by a hiker? Was it caused by a fisherman? And if it was an arsonist, it probably was someone who was, a bit of a whack job, but upset at the ban. And it probably wouldn't happen if there was no ban. So, I mean, I don't know.
The funniest part about this is I've been called out on by a bunch of people on both X and Instagram for continuing to say that it's bullshit. Like the hiker bans are bullshit. I get the fire bans. I'm not disputing that. That just makes sense. I'm used to where I'm from. There were fire bans every summer. You needed to be careful. No problem. I fucking get it. That's just being responsible. But telling people that they can't go into the woods because they're probably responsible for wildfires, that's bullshit. And even the new what was it? The New Brunswick premier yesterday said that, oh, it's not really about that. Like, I was literally lying. This is not what we're doing. Yet people are still defending her.
Yeah.
When I point out the fact, I'm like, okay, so you're going to call me names for telling you that the hiker bans are bullshit, that it's just about control and taking her rights away, but you won't address the fact that she literally lied to you, admitted that she lied to you, and then said, you know what? The real problem is because we do not have the first responders to deal with that. And what's interesting about this whole crap is that here's a cool video from Justin Trudeau back in 2021. Ryan Garrison posted that yesterday. I don't know if you follow that guy. I like that guy. Cool dude. At least, sorry, I don't know the guy, but I like
what's his name?
Ryan. And his last name is Gerritsen.
Garrison. Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah. I've seen his posts. Yep.
So here's what Justin Trudeau said back in 2021. I'll play this video, 47-second long, and then we'll discuss.
This fire season has been one of the worst on record. It's clear we need more people and more resources to fight these wildfires and keep communities safe. So that's exactly what we're ready to deliver. A re-elected Liberal government will invest.
Oh my God! Just the way he talks is so.
Ahead of the next
holy fuck!
For the firefighters.
How annoying must that be?
Just let it talk.
To begin with,
the whole point, I understand. We don't have to deal with him anymore, but just it's 45 seconds long.
And more resources to fight these.
He literally addressed the problem in 2021. Is my point.
This fire season has been one of the worst on record. It's clear we need more people and more resources to fight these wildfires and keep communities safe. So that's exactly what we're ready to deliver. A re-elected Liberal government will invest $500 million ahead of the next fire season for the firefighters and equipment provinces need. To begin with, we'll train at least 1,000 more firefighters in communities across the country who'll be able to mobilize right away when a major burn starts. We know communities could have used more hands this year, so when next year comes around, this training means teams will be ready and complete.
So this is what he said to get reelected back in 2021. Yet, I did some research this morning, and he mentions 500 million available to train a minimum of 1,000 new firefighters and purchase aerial water bombers. Unfortunately, as per August 2025, there's only 300 new firefighters that have been trained and 0 new bombers have been bought. Yet he's talking about the solution to the problem that we're seeing right now. And it's across Canada, right? Every time there's wildfires, they always have to go to other provinces to say, hey, come help me, come help me. And I get it. Like, you want to have as many bombers as possible. That was 4 years ago. 500 millions. That was never done, never invested. And now we're in a point where instead of pointing out our government's failures, instead of saying that they mismanage our forests, that they don't go hard against arsonists and they let them go with a slap on the wrist, we just going to blame hikers.
Well, first of all, I wonder how many bombers $4 billion would buy.
500 million?
Well, no, 4 billion. I'm thinking of the money we just gave.
4.3. It's funny because I did a video this morning and that's what I said. Maybe we don't send money to Ukraine and we keep it here.
Maybe prolonging the war is less important than putting out fires. But yeah, fuck, it is, as you say, it's hard to listen to that guy, man. But yeah, you're right. They recognized the problem back then. It's just, I don't know, man. The whole thing just smacks of mismanagement. I kind of like what Jeff said the other day, where he said they're not doing what needs to be done to both prevent fires as well as fight them. They don't have the equipment, and so they're going to deflect by placing blame where it doesn't belong, on hikers, on fishers, just on the average citizen. Now, as you said, I'm all for bans that make sense in the moment, temporary bans, like a campfire ban. Of course, that makes sense. If you want to put a smoking ban, that makes sense. And this is probably more controversial, some people disagree, but I'm even okay with like an ATV or combustion engine ban in the woods, just because there is you can make some connection, a plausible connection between those kind of like gasoline in there and fire. But like, now you're talking hiking, fucking fishing, boating. This is what makes it feel like it's about control. It's not really about fire prevention. And then you see these other stories that are coming through where people who are actually lighting fires are getting, 10 months probation, a year probation, and a fine that's nowhere near $25,000. And it does make you wonder. For me, it's just these extreme fines that make it that bring it from like just bad policy or overreach to kind of authoritarian overreach. For example, New Brunswick has a no going in the woods ban as well, but I believe, as far as I'm aware, they still have they've got a $180 fine or something like that. The fact of the matter is, I mean, if a $500 fine isn't going to keep you out of the woods, a $25,000 fine probably isn't either, right? Like, I don't understand why it's so extreme, and it just, to me, it just smacks of government overreach, but authoritarian overreach and control. Whether they're just kind of high on their own supply from the COVID bans and they just had a good time and that they want to keep doing it, or this is, I don't know. I know there are some people who think this is preparation for some larger thing, and
cities.
I'm not there, but I see the point. I get the argument. Whatever it is, though, it's wrong. It's overreach, and something's got to give sooner or later. They keep telling us it's temporary. Well, it's going to rain here tomorrow in Nova Scotia, so we will see. We'll see how temporary it is.
Even Jeff Evely posted a video this morning, and it was wet. Like, the ground was wet everywhere. So obviously it wasn't raining. but it seems like it's coming. I know today, just here where I am, I started walking my dog and it was just like, just went down. So I would imagine that it's probably coming your way too. But to answer your question, a bomber ranges anywhere, like brand new, ranges anywhere from 20 mil to $50 million, depending. And you can get, they're saying here that you could get, where did I see that? I saw that there was some used ones that you could get for about $5 to $8 million. So
wow. So you buy a fuck ton.
You could buy a fuck ton. Well, you could at least buy 10 with $500 million to know how much does it cost to train people. So there is a cost analysis to be done, but it's not like it's $1 trillion for those ships, right? Those aircraft. And even if you buy them used, does it really matter? Canada's good at buying shit new, buying shit used, right?
Yeah.
If they work, they work. Who the fuck cares what they look like? At the end of the day, I don't care.
Yeah, I agree. This is an interesting point by Straight Canadian. Is everyone banned or just white people? LOL. Are Indigenous folks banned from the woods? And that's interesting because I suspect they probably aren't. But again, if it's really about fire prevention and these restrictions actually are effective, then it has to apply to everyone, right? And if it doesn't apply to everyone, then that's pretty strong evidence that it's not really about fire prevention, or they understand that these restrictions don't actually do anything to prevent fires. And then the question becomes, well, then what the fuck are we doing them for? It feels
it goes
like
back
control.
to the lockdowns of 2020 and what you saw with George Floyd. How many times did you see our government being an event with no mask, no nothing? They didn't follow the restriction rules that the commoners were supposed to follow. Like, let's be straight, I never fucking followed them. That I never did. They can all fuck off. I did not follow them whatsoever. But how many times have we seen our government, our leaders, both in Canada and the US, having parties? People were okay with having massive protests for George Floyd, Antifa, all those cool people. They were able to protest.
As long as it's the right protest, the virus,
exactly.
It's safe, right? Because the virus is left wing, and it won't go after left wing protests. I don't know. It's that stuff that just destroys trust in these kind of things by the government. I don't understand. There's a massive crisis of trust in our institutions, whether that's the media, whether that's government, and frankly, any government policy has to consider that fact. That has to consider how could this be construed. Again, because something we say all the time is perception will become reality. And if the perception is such that the government is favoring certain political sides over others, then at some point people will believe that. I know a lot of people already do, and even more people will continue to believe it. And once trust in the government goes, trust in the media, I mean, you see what we see now. The entire foundation of civil society starts to fracture.
And this is what I like about this show. You got Joe saying that crisis is manufactured, and you're seeing a guy that's on the complete opposite political spectrum than I am, and yet we can find common ground in the fact that those crises are
what
not.
Crisis?
I would imagine he's talking about wildfires.
Fire one, yeah.
So the point being that we agree, although we don't agree politically, we agree that this does not look good. And the fact that you had the New Brunswick premier come out and say, well, yeah, I guess I understand why you guys are pissed off, because
that's what I mean.
It has nothing to do. She admits on camera that it has nothing to do with
and that's the kind of
hikers,
stuff that destroys trust, right?
And this is exactly my point. However, you don't need to be a conspiracy theorist like me to see further down the road to see where the problems are. You can literally just look at what they're telling you from one day to the other. The premier went on camera and she lied. No consequences for her actions whatsoever. Zero, no consequences. She is allowed to lie, admit that she lied herself. Nobody caught her in a fucking got you moment there. No. She went on camera by herself, admitted she had so much backlash that she had to address it. And she said it out loud. That, oh yeah, you know what? We were lying. That's not what it's about. We accused you of doing stuff, but we know you're not the problem. It's just we think you're children, and if you go to the woods, you might trip, break your leg, and then we won't be able to help you. So does that mean that we can't go into the woods anymore at all? Like, does that mean that anything that's dangerous, if we leave the house, you can't leave the house anymore because you know what? We don't have the proper personnel to help you. Sorry, our money's been we sent all of our money to Ukraine, so my bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, it kind of gets to your point, even back then, of like, why are we sending all this money overseas, regardless of the cause, whether it's just or not, when we have all these problems here at home? You know, that $4 billion could have done a lot. It could have bought a lot of water bombers, could have paid for a lot of firefighters, and yet, just one more example. I guarantee our healthcare service could use it.
Yeah, no shit, eh?
Yeah, so the point stands is, are we really in a position to be sending billions and billions of dollars overseas for pet projects that really don't benefit Canada's interests?
You know, one thing that I found interesting, because I was thinking about what Sylvie's saying right now, they're slowly coming to our side, Nico, as in, when is this going to come to Quebec? When is this going to go to Ontario? Are they going to try to push this shit in Alberta? I doubt it because of Daniel Smith.
Alberta won't, no.
It's funny because this morning I did the exercise. I just Googled wildfires, enter, clicked on the news tab at the top just to see, and you can see local news. This is a Montreal wildfire, that they're scared for wildfires in Montreal. Then you're talking about Quebec City. Oh, wildfires might be possible. Obviously, you look at Halifax. This is what's been going on for days. Then they're talking about Europe. Then they're talking about Newfoundland, Labrador, because there's a wildfire going right now where they had to evacuate people.
There is, yep.
So see how, and now they're talking about BC, New Brunswick. So you see how everywhere they're all talking about this. They're all saying the same things, how we need to be careful. So how long before you start seeing that throughout Canada? Because that's been my point from the get-go. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll believe you that, let's play devil's advocate and say that in Montreal, in New Brunswick, there's a problem. You can't go in the woods. Let's say I believe that. I don't, but let's say I do believe that. Does that mean it's everywhere throughout Canada? We all have the same weather. We all have the same type of climate. Is that what we're going to do? Because we built a society now on the biggest idiots. We're literally trying to pass policies where we have to cater to the morons. So is that what's going to happen? Because maybe we have wildfires problem in New Brunswick. Does that mean that Montreal now you can't go into the woods because New Brunswick can't go into the woods? Like, is that really where we're going right now? This is the problem. Where the fuck does this shit end? And I found something that was interesting. I wanted to talk about this next, not next, but the next one. But I guess that makes. Hold on. Just let me show something because it kind of illustrate my point.
Sure.
And this is where I cannot take those people seriously. We all seen those graphs, right? Where you go to the news and then they tell you, oh, what's going on right now? How is it going to be? Blah, blah, blah. Look at that. Daytime high. That's July 9th, 2018 at the top. You have higher temperatures than below. Look at it. All is green, all is yellow. Everything looks good. That's July 26th. The temperatures are just higher in the east. All the rest is lower now, but look at this. And then a Table Salt, which is the account that posted this, asked Grok, why do they do this? Look at the answer right here. Listen to this. So weather services like Met Office and NOAA have tweaked temperature map colors over the past decades, mainly for accessibility reasons. Example, colorblind friendly.
Nah, I don't buy
it. No. And intuitive communication, not to exaggerate heat or drive clicks.
No, they would never want to do that. Never want to.
No. But this is my point. Like everything that we're seeing right now, like there was a comment somewhere. I think it's Bumpy saying that it's wildfire seasons. Agreed. It happens every single fucking year.
Well, that's the point. Yeah.
So
why are we putting
so-
$25,000 bans this year?
But why is that happening? Why are we seeing a shift in the colors? We all know why they're putting their colors there. We all know why they're putting their colors. They can say that, oh, it's not for clickbait, it's not to scare people. Obviously, why not? What else is it? Come on. It's the same thing. What is it like now in the winter? They're going to tell us that we need to stay outside, stay inside, because Canada's never dealt with this much snow in our life. And do you know what I mean? Like, when does this shit ever end? They clearly are lying in the East. New Brunswick Prime Minister, the New Brunswick Premier said it out loud. She lied. You see the weather.
What lie?
Oh, when she said that it's not about wildfire, that it's about us not being able to protect you. So you're lying. That's basically what it is. She said it on purpose, and then the day after, she's like, yeah, it wasn't really about that. It was about that we can't help you because our first responders are too busy. Then you have the Weather Network that uses graphs like that to show you that, oh, it's so outrageous. No, the temperatures were higher 7 years ago, yet they were green, not red. So they're using those little tricks everywhere. And we're supposed to believe that there's not something going on, that there's not an agenda there, that it's not propaganda. Bull fucking shit.
There's definitely an agenda. Absolutely there is.
Did I just get you to admit that there's an agenda?
Well, yeah. And I mean,
the man behind the curtain.
I mean, to play a little bit of devil's advocate, I think you could say the agenda is just that crisis sells, and I don't necessarily think that even the Weather Network has a strong interest in doing the WEF's bidding and getting that kind of stuff. But crisis sells, and they push the idea of crisis, and that is an agenda, right? At the end of the day, again, we might disagree on how the intent behind it, but the point is we do agree that this is done on purpose. We all know why those color changes are there, why it's all red and yellow, and it has nothing to do with fucking colorblind. Grow the fuck up. Like, come on, man.
I like this comment from
I saw
Mr.
that too.
Doctor.
I like that
If I were to play devil's advocate, this hiking ban could be a public relationship response to the U.S. complaining about Canadian wildfire recently, which is a real thing. Sure, so say so. But how are if you look at what causes wildfires in Canada, it ain't fucking hikers. They're arsonists. So you want to have a good public relation with the U.S.? Fucking jail those arsonists for 20 years. Jail them for the equivalent of murder. There you go. Problem solved. But they're going to stop. There's a lot of people that are going to stop doing it because there's consequences to their actions. It's very interesting how that works. If you stop being soft on criminals, they tend to not have as many criminals because there are consequences to their actions. So I get you, Mr. Doctor, but why not say so?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's true, but I like that. I like the line of thinking. I like kind of considering all angles, and
it would have been a great sales pitch, but they would have gotten murdered in the media, because basically what you're saying is Canada is following Trump by preventing hikers. Yet it could have been a great thing. Because of Trump, you can't go in the woods anymore. See, hey. There you go. I should work for mainstream media.
Elbows up, baby. Elbows up.
Elbows up.
As Wise Guy here says, the weather reports have become fear porn, always reporting the worst case scenario. In the winter, it's overblown snow levels. In summer, it's overblown high temperatures, heat stroke risk. Yep, that's correct. And that is also an agenda. And, the agenda doesn't have to be a giant conspiracy one. It could just be they understand that fear sells, fear gets people's attention. Either way, it's bad. Like, it's bad for society. It's bad for the psyche of society to be constantly bombarding us with fear. And yet, here we are. That is what they do.
You know what? This is great. No, go back to that comment, because you're reminding me of something I saw yesterday that I wanted to address, because just to speak to the fear porn aspect of this, here is something I found very interesting. Montreal Public Health says one heat-related death reported since Sunday. That was the name of the title. But basically what they were saying is that they are asking doctors to identify every single death that might be related to heat stroke. So if you're not telling me that that's not fear porn again, that reminds me. No, but that reminds me of the past 4 years. I have reports on my cell phone.
Guy's a heart attack. It's like, oh, it was a heat strike.
The guy's a whale. He can't barely walk. He's not hydrated. He goes outside. Doesn't take. Oh,
it was COVID.
You know, I have reports from a coroner right here where I'm from, around Montreal, where he was asked. All the coroners in Canada were asked by the federal government to identify any death as that virus, if it was a possibility that it was the virus. So basically, if you had it and you went through your windshield in a car accident, yeah, that was probably COVID. Just so you know. So this is the same thing here. It's just they're turning everything into fear, and then when I call it out, I'm the fear mongering guy. Awesome, cool. That's great. Awesome. But I don't know if people. Are people believing this shit? This is what, if I could ask one questions out of people that don't follow me, that I don't know, is, are people still watching this? Do they still believe this? Are they in agreement with what's going on? If you see a politician literally lie from one day to the other, do you still trust that person? Like, do you still believe she did that with best intentions? She did it for you? Like it was all about you? There was nothing behind closed doors that was just decided, hey, you know what, we're getting murdered in the numbers right now, so just admit that it was not really about hikers, that it was just to protect them. Because again, it always goes to safety, right? That's how they tried to pass that hate bill. Hey, we cannot do that to children. That means we need to censor everything online because of children.
Yeah. Oh, it's the tried and tested playbook. Bumpy says, do Nico and Rob go outside? Personally, it's been absurdly hot summer in Niagara Falls. I mean, I'm not sure what you're like, what you think our position is, Bumpy. Like, both of us are in favor of restrictions that actually prevent forest fires. What we're saying is banning hiking does not do anything to prevent forest fires. It's not. I mean, at least I'm not arguing that there isn't a real risk of forest fires. Of course there are. It has been a hot summer. It is very dry, certainly here in Nova Scotia. But that doesn't mean, that's like saying, oh, well, you can't wear red t-shirts because there's a high forest fire risk. Like, what's the connection between red t-shirts and forest fires? Obviously, I'm using a silly example just to prove a point. But, as Jeff, the example Jeff Evely says, his sneakers are not going to cause a fire. I'm all for restrictions that actually are effective at preventing forest fires. And I guess you could make some connection, like, oh, well, if you're hiking and you, I don't know, light a cigarette or something, well, ban smoking. I mean, I'm sure there is a 0.005% chance that someone hiking could do something. Maybe they fall and a glass bottle breaks and the glass collects light and ignites a dry leaf or something, but you can't make policy that affects everybody based on extreme outlier, low probability events. If that's the point, why just ban cars, right? But ban leaving your house. At some point, I just have to say, like, we have to accept a certain amount of risk to exist in the world. I don't want the nanny state trying to reduce risk to zero because A, it's impossible, and B, I wouldn't want to live in that world anyways.
So by the way, I just got a response from Jeff. He's like, hey, can we pick this up again after the media blitz is done?
Yes, sure.
I'm still interested, but this is an extraordinary week. Yeah, no shit, it is.
Yeah.
I'm seeing his fucking face everywhere. So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's still the goals, to have him on, but it's not like our show depends on it. So here we are.
Yep.
But we'll pick it up when he's out of that media blast.
He's pretty busy these days.
I get it. But
hopefully next Wednesday we'll have him on.
Yeah, it's just, again, it always blows my mind how people don't seem to question what they're being told, no matter who's saying it. I question what everybody tells me. Everybody. I don't care who you are. I will question it. I will research it. I will not take it for granted that you're right. I will take it as a basis, and then I'll say, okay, let's research this. Let's try to see where facts fall compared to the statement. I don't understand what's so hard about this.
Yeah, I mean, as Trevor says, you know, might get struck by lightning. There's, I guess, ban people going out in the rain or prairie. People get lost berry picking in the woods sometimes. Now we ban berry picking. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my thought process as well. You can't reduce risk in life to zero, and I don't want a nanny state trying to you know, socially engineer rules that affect all of us to try to get to this, even if we assume that they're genuinely good intentioned. Let's just for a second put aside the arguments that there's a broader agenda. Let's just say they actually think that this is right policy and they're trying to protect us. I don't want that. I don't want a government like that. I don't want the nanny state picking and choosing what I'm allowed to do based on some minuscule low probability risk.
Guys, if you're on Next right now, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to restream this stream. This is how you can help us out. If you want to join the conversation that you're seeing right now, you need to join us on the YouTube channel at the Poli Orphans. Once you're there, make sure to like, guys. So if you're on YouTube right now, like. Dislike if you don't like it. Let us know how you feel about the show.
Throw some thumbs down.
If I don't get a few thumbs down, I don't feel that I've done my job properly as the asshole on the. I'm the asshole. That's my role. I accept it. This is who I am. I'm like that in real life. Most people don't like me, and you know what? All good. All good. I play my part. But if I don't see a few dislikes, I'm not really satisfied. So if you like the show, like. If you dislike the show, you think I'm an asshole, dislike. If you think Rob's gay, dislike, or like, whatever. Either way, let us know how you feel about. Is it too gay? Is it okay? Is it acceptable? But all to say, if you want to support us, if you believe in what we're doing, we do have a membership plan on YouTube. It's $2.99 a month, so less than a cheap, nasty coffee served by Indians at Taj Mahal Tajmatorn. Before you take this one, I wanted to take this one from Joe Stradamus saying, I can smell the smoke in Michigan and I'm 200-300 kilometers from the border. Bro, I've been to Michigan many times. It ain't smoke you're smelling. Michigan stinks. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
How close is it to Detroit?
Yeah, because if you're in Detroit, if you're in Lansing, I spent my ex-brother-in-law had a fight league in Lansing, so I got to go there a few times. Pretty sure I got to fight in Lansing. It's pretty ghetto.
It's
pretty. Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, Michigan's ground zero for the deindustrialization.
The car industry. They got this. All muscle cars were made there. Fucking beautiful. I still dream of like a 1970, 1971 Chevelle SS black with white stripes. I still dream. This is still one of my dream cars. I hope I get to rebuild one day. But man, American muscle, there's nothing that beats American muscles. Old school Harley Davidsons. That's where the shit's at, bruh.
Yep, that's right. What do you think? Is there any comments you want to take, or do we squeeze?
No, we'll move on.
As much as we could out of that one.
I think we squeezed it. Now, I wanted to speak about this. I'd love to have an expert come on and explain those numbers for me. But this morning, it was reported that Alberta is set to lose $1 trillion due to Carney's emission cap. And I have a video, I believe. Yep, I have it right here. So I like Moose on the Loose. I watch his stuff all the time. I'm always curious to see what he's going to talk about because he's extremely researched. Like the dude does a lot of fucking research. So he posted this video. I figured I'd give him credit for it because that's where I learned about it. But here's Moose on the Loose talking about how Alberta is set to lose $1 trillion due to Carney's emission cap.
This one here from Kirk, it says breaking the Liberal government's emissions reduction plan and its emissions cap on oil and gas industry is going to cost Albertans billions. Alberta will lose almost $1 trillion in economic activity between 2030 and 2050. 2050. Smaller GDP, decline in household disposable income, employment losses, provincial revenues down, total disaster for Alberta. And that's what we're seeing right here, $941 billion smaller between 2030 and 2050. This is Alberta's cumulative economy estimated, so $1 trillion loss between this time frame. We also have Alberta's real oil and gas sector GDP estimated to be 19 billion smaller in 2030 and 59 billion smaller in 2050. Average disposable income per person will be $3,291 lower by 2050. Alberta's employment losses are estimated to be 50,700 by 2030 and 157,000 by 2050. Unemployment rate is supposed to be 0.5 percentage higher 2030 and almost 1 percentage point higher by 2050. This is economic disaster. Keep voting Liberals and this is going to come true. So we've been talking about this one for a long time. This is the emissions cap that the Liberals have put on us. This is 2030 emissions reduction plan. Clean air, strong economy. Actually, it's weak economy. So first at the bottom here, they have a chart pathway to 2030. They're showing the emissions reduction here, 40%. And all these are different sectors. This gray one here is transportation. Oil and gas is this one. Heavy industry, buildings, etc. As you see here, this hits every single sector. We go into oil and gas. It's got an estimated change minus 31 from 2005 to 2030, 160 megatons to 2005. 2019, 191 megatons. What we've already done, established federal regulations requiring oil and gas sector to reduce methane emissions by 40 to 45% below 2012 levels by 2025. This year, proposed clean fuel regulations will reduce carbon intensity of liquid fossil fuels, including reducing emissions from oil and gas production. Just wait for it. It's right down here. Launch the Energy Innovation Program, yada, yada, yada. Deployment of clean technologies and the carbon capture, utilization, and storage stream to advance CCUS technologies. Develop an investment tax credit for capital invested in carbon capture, utilization, and storage. It's the Brookfield Special right here. This Brookfield Special is going to decimate Alberta's economy.
So there you have it. And I like the fact that he talks about Brookfield, because I found their numbers, how they're doing on the market right now. It's interesting how they've been going up since January. I wonder why. I fucking wonder why.
But Mark, got to get up to Mark Carney's options price there.
Like $1 trillion, 940 billions, but at that point, let's fucking call it $1 trillion. But this is how much just Carney's emission cap is going to cost, not how much it cost up to now. And this is another part. You know, we talk about immigration, how having open policies in a welfare state will impact your immigration policies, will impact everything else. This is the same thing too. If you're starting to put caps on emissions, you will impact absolutely every single product and service out there. You'll even impact somehow our healthcare. You'll impact our every single social services that's out there, because all the prices are going to go up. Yet you look at Europe. Remember, they're starting to cancel them. They're starting because they found out that they can't compete with other world companies. So they're like, maybe we need to remove those caps. We need to remove those fines. Yet we continue to put them here. So Carney can't make a deal with the US. Carney can't make a deal with Mexico. Carney can't make a deal with fucking Asia. Now he needs to rescue the lumber, the soft lumber, because of the tariff that being put on in the state. He's going to need to somehow help the auto sector, the car sector. He's going to have to.
I can think of one really obvious way. Yes, that's one really obvious way.
Left, right, and center. He's going to have to dig into our pockets in order to invest or to plaster the problem, instead of fixing the fucking policies that would ultimately make us more self-reliant in the first place.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. And one thing that I think, I don't know if anyone's seen a chart, but between or that has both emissions and GDP at the same time, but they are almost in lockstep, to the point where you can think of emissions as a stand-in for GDP, and we need to start thinking about it like that. So, and I say that because, you know, that chart you showed, or that thing you posted, where it's like clean lower emissions, stronger economy. That's an impossibility. Like that cannot happen. Now, if we can make this, and we need to make it an honest conversation, because look, if you just believe that it is worth it to lower our GDP and lower our standard of living and hurt our economy in order to reduce emissions, then that's one thing. That's fair. At least we're having an honest conversation at that point. I disagree with you, but at least we're having an honest conversation. What is a lie is this idea that we can lower emissions and also improve our economy. It's a nonsensical proposition. And we need to understand the trade-offs to the decisions we're making in order to make solid policy. Like I said, if you just think that it's worth it to harm our GDP, harm our economy in order to lower emissions, sure. Okay, that's a valid position. I'll disagree with you, and I'll vote for the guy who opposes that. But it's a valid, at least it's an honest conversation. This way they're framing this as if you can somehow increase your GDP while lowering your emissions is a nonsensical proposition, because emissions are directly connected to energy, and energy expenditure is literally it is so tightly connected to GDP that they're essentially the same thing. And if you wanted to really dig into the weeds and talk about increasing GDP without increasing emissions, the only way you could even come close to maybe kind of getting there is with an extreme investment in nuclear power. And that's not even part of the conversation. So I just wish they'd start having an honest conversation.
I agree. Amen. I'm going to go refill my coffee, but take some comments. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll take a couple comments here. So we got, Straight Canadian says, meanwhile, Toyota just abandoned their EV lineup. Nobody in the right mind wants an EV now. No range, long charging times, no grid to support the load. Cold weather kills battery life. So those are all like the product reasons, like the consumer reasons why you don't want an EV, which is all the reasons from a consumer perspective why an EV mandate is stupid. It's dumb. It's bad policy. And that's not even getting into the economic reasons as it relates to Canada. The fact that we have an automotive sector that's on life support now with these tariffs, and we don't really make any EVs. So when you say an EV mandate by 2035, what you're really saying is a foreign car mandate by 2035. You're essentially mandating that the vast majority of our cars will be foreign. And that's just, it's such an own goal. I can't even call it an own goal. It's suicidal. It's economically suicidal to do something like that. And again, as I've said before, it won't take till 2035 to destroy the automotive industry, because who's going to buy a gasoline powered car in 2030 if in 5 years it's going to be illegal? So it's going to destroy the automotive industry.
It's not going to be illegal. You got to be careful. It's not going to be illegal. It's just going to be they can't. No, they're doing with the 2030 EV mandate is that there's a echelon, and year over year it becomes higher and higher, but there's steps as to how many EV cars needs to be built compared to the gas operated one. But in 2030 they will no longer be able to produce new gas operated cars. I believe that there are some restrictions or some caveats depending if they're diesel, depending if they're for transport and stuff like that. So there are caveats, but the goal is to replace all the cars that are produced gasoline operated cars by EVs by 2030. So no more new ones. Okay. So I would imagine that it's going to keep on going up, contrary to what you were saying, because they're not going to make them illegal. So they're going to continue going up. The price is going to go up, obviously, because the more demand there is, the higher the price. And
so either way, it's going to destroy the Canadian automotive sector.
The fact that the five CEOs, the 5 top car manufacturers in Canada have all sent a combined letter to Carney to say, what the fuck are you doing? You need to scrap that. That should tell you right then and there, because those guys at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about your politics. They want to make money. If the EV mandate was good for them, they would be the first one to endorse it. Of course, they don't care. They just want to make money. So if they're telling you that it's going to decimate their business, you might want to believe them, and automatically it's going to decimate us. But as I always say, for the new listeners there, I am a conspiracy theorist. That's why there's a little tinfoil hat there. That's all part of the plan of the 15-minute city. And you can't even consider that a conspiracy theory, considering that they're starting to speak about it in Alberta. I think it was in Edmonton that wants to become a 15-minute city. They talk about it openly like it's nothing. They want to have everything available to you within 15 minutes of your house, or it's going to be, at this point, it's going to be a condo in those massive buildings where you don't need to leave the city to go anywhere. You don't own cars. It's all going to be provided by the government. Like, I don't know if you saw the movie Downsizing. I was just rewatching it over the weekend, where people can get minuscule, like they can reduce to like 1,000%, like 1,000 to 1 size of a normal human being, because it's good for the environment. You don't waste as much, so people are getting.
Oh, it was a movie, right? Matt Damon.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's funny is that the town where Matt Damon buys a house in, that's what they have. They all have electric cars, and there's just a certain amount of them. You might need to share. You might need to wait. But you own your house for now, but the cars are not yours because everything's available right then and there. You don't need to go anywhere. Just stay in your 15-minute city. So to me, the mandate makes sense. All the restrictions that I'm seeing, like even don't go into the woods. Because you know what? The average person that lives in a city like Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, they're not in the woods every single day. If you live outside the city, like look where your parents are right now. Obviously, they go to the woods all the fucking time. But having spent most of my childhood in the woods and spent a few years recently in the woods, that's not the reality of most people. So to them, not a big deal that they don't go into the woods. They understand the bans. So this, in my head, all leads to the same place, 15-minute city. Everything that they do, I'm like, okay, I understand why you're doing that. So that's the conspiracy for today.
Yeah, I mean, that's. I mean, I definitely hear the term. I know people are talking about it. I've always understood it to mean sort of an aspirational vision of a future city. I never understood it to mean like they're banning anyone or forcing people to stay in their blocks or not taking cars. But who knows? Maybe I'm just maybe I'm the naive one who I'll be the last one to get to know. By the time I figure it out, I'll be digital ID'd in my apartment and unable to leave. And I mean, we're all fucked. We're all fucked anyways. Like, who gives a shit?
Bumpy is saying Nico probably the first person to rewatch Downsizing. I rewatch movies all the time because of the implication. I strongly, as a movie buff, I strongly believe that
Idiocracy. That's a documentary, man.
But the thing is that they use movies to prepare people for what's coming. They desensitized you. Perfect example. Like, I'll give you the perfect example. I grew up in the 80s, which zombie movies started to make an appearance really heavily in the 80s and the 90s. Yep. And what do you think happened in March 2020 when they started talking about COVID? 12-gauge shotgun loaded. There's zombies coming. But see what I mean? It's all there's a virus 28 days later. You remember that movie? There's a virus that's released, and then everybody turns into zombies, and then you need to protect yourself against zombies. So they condition you through movies. So I watch a movie like Downsizing. I see the electric cars. I see the small cities where people don't have to go anywhere because everything is supplied. You don't have to worry about it. You don't need to go anywhere. We'll give you everything that you need. So I see that. I'm like, oh, yeah. Look at the past 10 years. You see those movies all the time where people don't have to go anywhere. People live in big cities. It's just dystopian, but you don't go anywhere because you don't have to, because there's wasteland around. Do you remember Equilibrium? With that's one of the first movies that started talking about this. Equilibrium with Christian Slater, where they take a remedy where they have no emotions. They suppress their emotions. But all of the outside of the cities are landfills. It's illegal for you to go there. You can't own books. You can't own paintings. You can't own videos. That you look at this and people are like, oh, that's science fiction. Yeah. So was I, Robot with Will Smith 20 years ago when it first came out. Now you see Tesla making robots that look like the robots in iRobot, and I'm like, I grew up watching Star Trek. You know, they invented the tab in Star Trek. But do you remember? I don't know if you. Well, I'm a Star Trek buff. You saw them, not the original, the Next Generation, but they had the tabs. Everybody has a tab. They're always talking on tabs. That's You saw a handheld touch device. Now we have tabs. Yep. Are you telling me that this did not influence people to invent that? Like Steve Jobs, you don't think that he grew up on the same type of shit I did? He saw that. He's like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. I'm going to invent that. So to me, movies are all conditioned. So that's why I rewatch those movies, because I'm like, oh, shit, this has been a few years. Let's see how closer we are to that bullshit. Oh, 2001 Space Odyssey. Oh, bejesus.
Oh, that's classic. Classic.
Yep. I digress.
Yes. But yeah, no, I mean, I guess we'll... it's definitely worthwhile keeping your eyes open, keeping your eyes peeled, even if I don't necessarily believe some of the stuff. You know, I do hear
most of this stuff.
And, well, a lot of this stuff. So, like, to be clear, it's not that I believe that the idea of 15-minute cities is a conspiracy theory. Like I think with Squirrel said, you can go read about it on the UN, and yeah, I understand that those. What I'm saying is, I'm not sure that 15-minute cities in the way that the conspiracy theorists think it is what they're intending. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's all I listen to it, I hear it, and if I, you know, if as things change, I'm ceased that it's going to make more and more of a move towards these things. Yeah, I mean, I'll like any science, empirically minded person, my opinions change as evidence changes. Right? I'm not locked into anything.
What a great fucking comment.
Yes.
Terminator, Skynet. I look at Skynet and I look at AI where it is right now. We're at the cusp of what we call the singularity. Everybody understands what AI singularity is. You understand what that means, Rob? I'm not trying to be an ass here, but we're all on the same page that singularity means that it becomes self-aware. And now we have AI models all over the place that are connected all over the internet. So a thing like Skynet, I'm like, oh, that's a matter of time. But remember 40 years ago, almost, when the second Terminator, the most popular one, came out, you're like, oh, that's so science fiction. Today, I'm like, goddamn. So,
yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, as Zoe said here, like, Rob, it's on the WF website. Yes, I understand the term will be, but is it on the WF website that it says we're going to make sure you can't have vehicles and you will be locked in a small, like, that's the part.
But that's what the 15-minute cities are. That's the whole concept.
No, it's
is
not.
That everything is, of course.
At least the official concept is that you will have everything you need in a close thing. So you won't want to leave your local area. You won't need to. But it's not saying you won't be allowed. You won't be allowed. I mean, I want the convenience of getting all my groceries in a small place too. But if you start to tell me I'm not allowed to leave my city block, then of course that's a completely different thing than saying we're going to provide you with the resources. So you probably won't want to leave, but you still can if you want to. Like, that's a completely different thing. Yes, of course, make life convenient.
But that again, is so basically this is where you and I are always going to disagree, is that we agree on what the sales pitch is, which is what you just said. They're selling you the convenience. The real intent is for you not to leave. Again, look at what happens. Look at what happened with the lockdowns. Instead of making the people at risk, the small percentage of the population that are just one dumb moment away from dying because they treat themselves like bullshit, they don't take care of themselves. We sold the idea that for them, the people that don't take care of themselves, we need to lock everybody down. For their sake, not for you because you're healthy, it's fine, but for everybody else. So that's the idea. Yeah, make it very simple, make it very available. The sales pitches, you're not going to have to go anywhere. That works for most people because most people are lazy as shit. They want every convenience possible because they don't want to waste their time doing those things like we used to. That's the sales pitch. Of course it is. They're always going to sell the convenience aspect, just how they sell the safety aspect for hiker bands. Oh, it's all about protecting. We want to protect the forest. We want to protect you. It's all about you. So that's the point. The sales pitch is always great, but at the end of the day, you need to look further and see what
Well,
is beyond that sales pitch.
I feel like the hiking ban is a good example of what I mean. When the evidence shows that this is what they're actually trying to do, I will turn against it, as I have in the hiking ban. I've not seen any hard evidence that they're going to try to restrict me with a gated access that I can't leave my neighborhood or take away my car. If and when the evidence suggests that that's what they intend to do, then I promise you I will be opposed to it as well.
So let me ask you this. So in this, since this is a great topic, like I'm happy we're talking about this, but
yep.
Let's say we'll play devil's advocate on that one. So during the lockdowns, during the freedom convoy, they froze people's bank account because they did not agree with them. So you know that the government is going to do it. The government has the power to do it. They did it. They even used the Emergency Act unconstitutionally, as was proven in federal court. So you know that they have the power. You know that they will do it when it fits their agenda. Is it that hard to believe that they sell you a really nice ideology that, oh, everything's going to be super close to you. You won't have to buy a car anymore because it's all going to be supplied by the government. It's all going to be maintained by the government. Everything's going to be super close, available, and cheap for you. Is it how hard is it to believe that the next step after that is just to say, you know what, those cars that are in those 15-minute cities can no longer leave the area. They need to be restricted. No, but
to what end? Like, why would they do
control?
The real people that control the world are the people with the money, the corporations. They don't want that society. They want us buying shit left, right, and center. They want us consuming. They want us mindless zombies consuming and buying products. They don't want to keep us caged up.
You referred to Idiocracy earlier as a movie. Yeah. Did you really pay it? You should rewatch it and actually pay attention. Do you see those fat slobs going anywhere outside of their city? No. They're stuck to their TVs getting blasted by dumb entertainment day in, day out. That's my point. Like, if that's the goal, you look at this movie, to me, is just like 1984. It's a fucking it's a warning. It's like, guys, if you're not fucking careful, this is what's going to happen. That's a 15-minute city right there. You don't see those guys leaving. They're always around their apartment. They're always around their cities. Do you remember seeing cars? There's not a lot of them in those movies. Most people don't own them anymore. So I understand what you're saying, but you have to be able to question if the people in power are capable of taking our rights away like they did during the convoy because of peaceful protests. How hard is it to believe that they will take them away when it fits their wants, which is just control? At the end of the day, those people in power all have all the money in the world. What are they chasing? Control. They just want to control people. That's power over people. That's what narcissist people do. That's what sociopaths and psychopaths do. They have no empathy for people. We're not equal to them, so they want to control us. They want to tell us what to do so that they can do whatever the fuck they want. It's simple human nature, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, no, definitely understand the logic, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll be. I'm not opposed to the idea. I have no doubt that there are people out there who would want to do these kind of things. I just think the logistics of it would be pretty difficult, but I'll keep watching, and if the evidence suggests that, if there's any talk that they're gonna start herding us into 5 square block areas, and you're gonna have to gated communities that you can't leave and don't take a car. I mean, yeah, I'll be out there as well.
I suggest you just do research on the WHO. They've been talking the World Health Organization, the one that we take advice on everything, that we just signed the next pandemic treaty that Canada's part of. The US refused to sign it, but Canada signed it, like most countries in the world, the new WHO readiness program for the next pandemic. If you go and you start researching, one of their main agendas since the 80s and the 90s is world depopulation. How do we reduce world populations? When you understand that the people, one of the biggest organizations that every single country seems to listen to when it comes to health, one of their main goal is depopulation. You look at the Bilderberg's conference that just happened about a month and a half ago. One of their main topic was mass migration and depopulation. Chrystia Freeland was there, and our finance minister was there. Like, why are those organizations openly talking about this like they're not scared of it? and we take advice from them. Our government listens to them. Mark Carney was on the board of the WEF. He was one of the main special envoy for climate change at the UN. When you start seeing what their main agenda, what they used to do before they got in power, it's not hard to believe that they will do whatever the fuck they want, because those organizations are not shy. If you go into Bilderberg groups, you will see what they stand for. They have no shame in telling you what they stand for, because most people don't want to believe that it's true. Same thing with the WEF, same thing with the WHO.
Yes, I have no doubt that there are shitty people out there that want to do shitty things. I think just the logistics of implementing a lot of these kind of systems that I hear people talking about, it's simplistic thinking to think they'd be able to do it. They're like, you're never going to be like, my thinking is kind of like, where is it here? Someone says, is it Mr. Doctor? Said basically the liberals can't, they'd never be able to do it because they can't fucking do anything. That's yeah, here it is. Mr. Doctor says, let's be honest, liberals will never be able to construct 50-minute cities. They can't even construct a single home. That's more along my line of thing. It's not that I know that there are people out there who want to do those sorts of things. It would be an almost impossible task to actually do it, is what I'm talking about.
But it's not, because you guys are, so the whole point of the show is to try to align or to show liberal people that believe they're liberals, people that believe they're conservative or left and right, to kind of come to a common agreement, or to common sense solutions, or at least agree on the problem. There's no difference between the liberals and the conservatives. How many times have I said that over the past 6 months? I see no difference between the liberals and the conservative. Just look at Pierre Poilievre has not, yet to this day, Pierre Poilievre has not addressed the fire bans or anything that had to do with the hiker bans. Didn't address it at all. So basically,
that's actually interesting. Yeah.
But that's my point, and that keeps on happening and happening and happening. At the end of the day, the liberal versus Democrat crap, or the liberals versus the conservative, is all bullshit. It's theater. There's no really difference between the two. Those immigration policies that destroyed our country over the past 10 years weren't implemented by the liberals. They were implemented by a conservative party, by the last conservative government. It's just the liberals took advantage of it and took them way further. But at the end of the day, it was a conservative government that put them in place, that opened our borders. So to believe that there's really a difference between the two, that the liberals are incompetent and the conservative are more competent, they're not. They all play for the same team. It just ain't us.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, we all know I'm not really conspiratorial minded. Doesn't mean I don't think these things are possible. We're not going to agree on every single thing, and that's fine. This show would be very boring if we did. So on that note, should we move on?
Yeah, we definitely can. Talking about not being able to travel.
Yes.
Air Canada, I was worried that would happen before I went on my way back to San Francisco, from San Francisco last week, because they've been talking about it for a little while. But Air Canada is set to start canceling flights because they are going on strike. So here's a little video by CTV News talking about why the waitresses of the air are not happy.
Well, we begin with breaking news from Air Canada, which will start canceling flights tomorrow, with all of its Air Canada and Rouge flights grounded.
The flight attendants now.
Flight attendants issuing a 72-hour strike notice overnight
of the air
sets the stage for them to walk off the job Saturday morning. Let's bring in our Catalina Gillies now. She is joining us live from Pearson Airport with the reaction from travelers. A lot of summer plans right now up in the air, Catalina.
Yeah, absolutely, Karen. And this is peak travel time. So some passengers tell me that they're quite stressed about how it will impact their flights. Lots of people I spoke with flying with Air Canada in the next coming days don't know how that will affect their return flight. But on the other hand, some passengers tell me they agree with the flight attendants that they should be paid for some of the unpaid work that is currently underway, such as boarding passengers, safety checks. Currently, flight attendants aren't compensated for that. Meanwhile, Air Canada responded this morning, say it will begin implementing its contingency plan to gradually begin an orderly wind down of operations. So as of tomorrow, first round of flights will be canceled, with more to come on Friday, followed by a complete cessation of flying by Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge flights on Saturday. If the strike goes ahead, it could impact around 130,000 passengers a day. Air Canada has presented a 4-year pay package, a 38% total compensation increase, including a 25% bump in year one. But the union says that hike only amounts to about a 17.2% real wage gain over 4 years, saying it's insufficient and that it fails to account for things like inflation and market rates. The union says direct talks are the only way forward, but at this point, there is still no deal in sight. Here is more reaction from passengers I spoke with.
They shouldn't be getting work for free. Like, if they're on the plane doing a job, making sure that we're safe as a passenger, pay them for it.
Any strike is never going to be fun, especially like now when you really, really want to travel, and traveling is just so limited as far as where we can go. Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be fun if we lose that.
It's terrible. We would fly back and forth from Newfoundland all the time, and we're always flying Air Canada, so it doesn't sound very good to me.
No.
Not at all.
Especially when we got to come back home in a few weeks. So
back home
that might be a little chaotic.
Again, this is peak travel time, so this could cause a lot of disruption. Air Canada says it would try to rebook customers onto other airlines and maybe offer train tickets. But again, this could cause a lot of disruption in the coming days. The airline says customers whose flights are canceled will be notified. They will be issued full refunds. And they also said customers without confirmed flights should not show up at the airport. So it is good to have a backup plan if you are flying with Air Canada out of any of the major cities in the coming days. I'll send it back to you, Karen.
So there you have it. Just for sake of argument here, an Air Canada flight attendant's base salary is around $28.64 an hour on average, with potential earnings of 35 to 40 hours or more, depending on the seniority. We are looking at an income range of 40,000 to 70,000 plus, on top of benefits. So yeah, there you have it.
And income range of what was that range? Sorry,
40 to 70 plus benefits.
Okay, plus benefits, because I was like 40 doesn't sound that good for a flight attendant. I would have expected a little more than that.
But see, and this is where like I do every day, I piss people off. What the fuck do they really do? They're waitresses. They're waitresses in a plane. Like, let's be honest here. We're not talking about the pilots. We're not talking about the men and women that are piloting. We're talking about, what do? They serve passengers. That's what they do. Do you expect them to make 150 grand a year for fucking serving people?
No. I feel like, I don't know, 60, 70 sounds about right. But either way, it's a private company, and they're going to do whatever it is that they want. I just don't want any bailouts for them if they because if that was a Crown Corporation, they would just give them whatever they asked for, knowing that, of course.
Do you know it used to be?
Air Canada used to be a Crown Corporation.
Yeah, it's not anymore. It's run by a private entity.
Private now.
Yeah, but it used to be a Crown. No, me neither. I was just researching the other day, and it used to be a Crown Corporation.
Wow. No, I didn't know that. But yes, I mean, at the end of the day, private companies, they have to actually factor in the market, and they need to understand they can't make stupid decisions knowing that they're going to be backstopped by, the Canadian government, in other words, taxpayers, in the way that Crown Corporations were. But
so what do you think it is? Like, if you look at it, so we agree that if it was just like Canada Post, they'd get the fucking money they want. No questions about it.
Definitely.
But so we're talking somewhere about 40 to 70 grand. And that's for Air Canada. I'm not saying all across airlines. I'm just talking about Air Canada. I don't see their skill set to be any different from a waitress working in a restaurant, outside of they do it in the air instead of doing in the city where the restaurant is. And the average salary, so I'm just looking here for sake of argument again, the average salary for a waitress in Canada, as per the job bank, we're talking about $15 to $30 an hour, which earlier we were talking about 28 and above, which ranges from 20,000 to 40,000 for part-time, and full-time waitresses make something along the lines of $40,000 to $50,000 a year in busy urban centers like Toronto and Vancouver. So this is what I find interesting about that story, and this is where I want to hear what the listeners think. Should they be paid more considering their skill sets? Because I don't think anybody here is gonna disagree that if you're working, you should get paid. I don't really give a fuck what you're doing. I don't care that you're making $500,000 a year or you're making $40,000 a year. If you're working, your employer, if you're on the clock, your employer should be fucking paying you. Because that seemed to be one of their complaints, right? So that to me is a no fucking brainer. That argument is aside. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. At least I don't. I agree with them 1,000%. If they're on the fucking clock, I don't care that you're fucking sweeping the floor. I don't care what you're doing. If you're on the fucking clock, you should get paid. No questions about it. But are they really, is their skill set really that impressive? Should they be making more money based on their skill set? That's really the question at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. So I'm just Googling it here. So it says, gives me an hourly rate, at least in Nova Scotia, of about $27 for a flight attendant.
I was saying 28 earlier.
Yeah.
So wash,
I don't know what that
pretty wash.
What that averages out to per year.
$20 an hour, 40 hours a year, 40 hours a week is $40,000. $20.
Okay, so $27 that sounds about right to me. Which is probably what, about 50,000 maybe. Yeah, I guess,
yeah, give or take. I'll calculate it for you.
But yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, I mean, it's
$58,000 if you're looking at 28. Let's call it 28 for sake of argument here. 28 times 40 hours a week times 52. You're talking 58,240 a year.
Yeah, to me that sounds about right. As Wise Guy says, you're right, Nico, about what stewardesses do. They have crazy schedule and no home life to speak of. In terms of skill set, you're right. It's about what a waitress, but there is other factors. Inconvenience of the travel and the lifestyle that I think probably demand would it's appropriate that they make a little more than waitresses. But yeah, I don't know, $27 sounds about right.
Because so we're looking at about $40,000 to $50,000 in busy centers like Toronto and Vancouver. That's what a waitress makes. And we were talking about 40 is about the base salary plus benefit up to 70 plus. They say 70, but obviously there's people that make more money than that. So you're looking at 20,000 more. The range, instead of being 40 to 50, like the higher, and I would argue that 40 to 50,000 is probably pretty low, because I guarantee you that some of the swanky restaurants here in Montreal, those fucking waitresses are not making $40,000 to $50,000 a year. No. Those are, when you go there, you're spending $200-300 minimum for two people when you're eating there. So they're making money, right? So obviously the range is a lot bigger than that, but is it that far-fetched? Should they be getting more than that? Because the problem that I see with waitresses doing what they're doing right now and being able to go on strike is that they're capable of putting our biggest air carrier in Canada on hold. They can literally shut it down. They have a lot of power.
Yeah.
Just like Canada Post worker, right? They know that if they go on strike, they're going to impact almost every single Canadian out there. And my flight back from San Francisco, I don't like to deal with Air Canada. I really don't. I do my best not to deal with them. I just don't like the company. But it's very rare for me to be able to not deal with them at all, because they are our biggest carrier in Canada. And I think the numbers I looked at was like 70% of flights in Canada or Air Canada. So
Yep. No, I agree with that. And there's, as Bumpy here says, there's a good point too. He says, who deals with the people on flight in case of emergency in the air? It's flight attendants. I mean, there's a responsibility that flight attendants have, that the waiters have, like a responsibility for people's lives and that they, in a case of emergency. So that obviously, I think would deserve a little extra more money as well. But at the end of the day, I don't know, man, 25%. Is that what they said they rejected? A 25%?
That's raise? What I heard, yeah.
It's hard for me. It'd be hard for me to have a lot of sympathy for that. If the range is 40 to 80 and they're saying no to a 25% raise.
So it says here, as per OAG, the data from 2024 says that Air Canada holds approximately 50% market share of capacity at major hubs like Toronto, Pearson, Montreal, Vancouver, and its main hub handling over 1/3 of connecting passengers. So it seems like they hold about I was saying 70, I was too high, so it seems like it's more ish 50% ish.
Sure. Yeah.
So they can put a massive dent in the travel season. And let's be honest they're going on strike in the summer on purpose. This ain't a fucking coincidence, right?
Oh no, they want to cause the most. They want to use the leverage and cause the most pain possible. But yeah, certainly an important story to keep an eye on because I mean it absolutely will affect any Canadian who wants to travel.
If 100%. But I think there's an honest answer, an honest question that needs to be asked is, do they really need to get paid more or not? And I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying that they do. I don't see them as very skillful individuals. And man, I fly a lot. And how many times have I had really bad stewardess that just couldn't give two fucks? And that's not an airline thing. It's all across the board. It doesn't matter. So you know what? You're interacting with the public. It sucks. I've done it for years. So yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, exactly, Bumpy. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like Canada Post going on strike just before Christmas or before Mother's Day, which is supposedly, if I trust Seinfeld, the documentary, that it is the busiest time of the year for mail. So,
and you know it is. Like if Seinfeld says it, it's good enough. Good enough for me.
It's documentary talk, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a reality show. It ain't just your regular, your typical show. It is real, 100%.
Yeah. Straight Canadian danger pay. I mean, I guess statistically they probably shouldn't get danger pay because it's actually safer. But yeah, I mean, there should be something to compensate for the fact that their lives are much less convenient, say, than the average worker. Cindy Melnick says go ahead. No, go. So my auntie worked for Air Canada a while back, and all flights were covered to fly for free when they would go on vacation. Not sure if that's still the case. I suspect it probably is. I think that's one of the big benefits because there definitely are benefits and perks to that job as well.
And they need to be calculated in the end sum, right?
Yep.
How much are they actually getting? If they're getting 2, 3, 4 flights, 5 flights, whatever it is every year, that should be part of the benefits. And you can't leave around. You can't take out the benefits. That's like pay. That's what the advantage. When I transferred jobs from one company to the other, that's always one of the main questions. What's your fucking benefit package? What does it bring me? Are you matching 100% of my investments if I invest in the company? Are you matching, like, what are you giving me on top of healthcare and on top of dental care? You need to give me something more. So, but that's part, obviously, of your end salary.
Yep, absolutely.
Want to move on, or you want to take one?
Take that final one. Joe says, you don't even want to know what EMTs make down here. Hint, the stewardesses already make more than them. EMTs, that's like ambulance workers and stuff.
Those are considered the first responder, yeah.
Those are, because I knew a girl who worked as one, and I was shocked when I found out how much they made. It's very, very, very little. Like much less than you would think, considering the work that they do. And I don't understand it.
Oh, Jesus, huh?
What's it say
in
there?
Canada, the salary for an emergency medical technician, which is what EMT stands for, varies, but generally falls between $45,000 and $67,000 per year, with an average of $55,000. Hourly wages can range from $25 to $48 per hour. Jesus, that's not high.
They definitely should be paid more than stewardesses or flight attendants, put it that way.
Yeah, but you know that it's a private company versus something that's paid by taxpayers' money. Like EMTs are, at least not in the US, like I'm talking Canada. It's part of the healthcare system. So you know that they're paid by the government, provincial / federal government. But that sounds low.
It does. It does. It sounds really low.
That sounds low. You know, I recorded, I can't remember the name of the guy, but he runs a podcast called Shield 2.0. He's an old firefighter. Was it firefighter or police officer? No, he was a police officer, sorry. And he worked in some really fucked up parts of the US. And we had a podcast together. His Shield 2.0, his podcast is all about, it's called Behind the Shield. My apologies.
Okay.
And his podcast is all about first responders. So police officers, firefighters, EMT, just regular people that comes to his show to talk about what they do. And during the podcast, I swear to you, he blew my mind because he mentioned something I never thought of. And he said that one of the things that firemen, police officers, EMT do deal with a lot, because a lot of firemen are EMT, like they're trained as EMT, because often firemen are show up to the scene before everybody else, often before police. And if you have to rescue somebody, you have to give you have to save somebody's life. Those guys are normally trained as shit. Like firefighters are awesome. And the guy was explaining that one of the things they did all the time, especially in older neighborhoods, is to show up to an elderly couple's house and picking up people from the floor because they can't, they don't have the strength anymore. They fell, they can't do anything. And the husband, like he was telling me a story where him and his partner, they walked in a house where the woman was on the floor. She couldn't move anymore. She had soiled herself. She was covered in shit because she was stuck there, and she was there for a while. The husband was crying because he used to be a man that could pick up his wife and help her, but now he's old and weak and decrepit, and he's just there in tears because he can't save her. He's there watching her, and there's nothing that he can do. He's not able to pick her up, so he has to call emergency services to come help her. And he was saying that one of the things that they did all the times to clean the elderly. So they would take that woman, they would bring her to her shower, to a bath, they would clean her, they would change her, they would put her back, they would wipe out, like they would clean the mess. I have so much respect for EMTs. Yeah, it's just his story. Like I'm talking about it and I get emotional. I'm happy I'm wearing glasses right now, but it's it's wild, insane. Yeah. It's insane what those guys and women do that we never hear about. We don't hear those stories, right? You don't hear that stuff in the media.
They definitely get underpaid for what they do, for sure.
Yeah, that kind of blows my mind. I didn't realize that stewardess made as much money as EMTs. It should be the other way around. EMTs make as much money as stewardess. Blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit, eh?
Yeah.
What do we got next?
We are going to talk about the Liberals are being accused by the Toronto Sun of hiding their immigration numbers.
Interesting, yeah.
So I found this video this morning. A lot of people don't like the guy that recorded the video, Lily. I'm not the biggest fan, but when it's accurate, it's accurate. So I don't really care where it comes from. If it's true, it's true. So here is Lily speaking out of the Toronto Sun, how it seems that right now, as we speak, the Liberals are no longer releasing our immigration numbers. And they're being accused of not only hiding the numbers right now, but fudging the numbers. So here you go.
Something funny is going on with the Liberal government led by Mark Carney and how we get immigration numbers. Hi, I'm Brian Lilly, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. It was Conservative MP and immigration critic Michelle Rempel who alerted the country to this last week. It seems that the Carney Liberals have just stopped releasing public information through the open portal data set on the government website on how many immigrants we're getting into this country. There hasn't been an update since the March numbers, and those came out in May. My colleague Brian Passafume was writing about this and asked the department what happened. They didn't get back to him until after press time, but eventually they sent him a statement saying that they were updating how the data is being presented. Let me quote. The goal is to provide clearer explanations of trends and greater context to help Canadians better understand data about key IRCC programs. That would be Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. As part of this work, we're updating our web content to make the data more accessible and meaningful. The most recent statistics will be published shortly. One other thing they told him was that if you really wanted it, you could ask for it. Well, lots of people rely on.
So did you hear that? Like he basically the Immigration Canada, when they requested where were the numbers, they've told Brian Pasifew, I'm not too sure how to pronounce his last name, but saying that the reason that the immigration data is not being published since March is because they're updating how we share immigration data with Canadians. Like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Do you mean what you share with Canadians?
Just tell it to us.
And I agree for the people
we don't
out
need you
there
to massage the data.
No, and I agree with I understand Sylvie and Bumpy that you can't stand that guy. I get it. I'm not the biggest fan either. But at the end of the day, if it's true, it's true. I don't really care who says it. If it's accurate, it's accurate. Yep. But let's just continue this video because he goes a bit further into it, and I'm curious to see, is this a trend now? Are we gonna starting to see Carney's Liberals completely hiding the numbers for a while and then start changing those numbers or massaging those numbers? Because I guarantee you, man, even their voters are starting to not be happy about this because it's starting to get exposed more and more how immigration affects every single aspect of our life when you live in a fucking welfare state.
Shortly, one other thing they told him was that if you really wanted it, you could ask for it. Well, lots of people rely on this data. As Rempel pointed out, everything from local governments, provincial governments, school boards, home builders, businesses, all kinds of people rely on this data, and it's been missing for months. And Rempel's concern is that, well, the government's just going to fudge the data. Now, why does this matter? Because immigration has been a huge issue for the past number of years. As former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says, they messed up the system and they were bringing in more people than we could absorb. Well, what's happening now? Are we still bringing in massive amounts of people? It's kind of weird because we're getting, well, mixed signals from Statistics Canada. On the one hand, their quarterly population estimate for the first 3 months of this year said, oh, there was virtually no growth. There were only about 20,000 people added in the first quarter. Well, that's weird because their monthly jobs report, the labor force survey, was showing that about 96,000 people were added to the workforce in those first 3 months. Canada doesn't have a growing population of people 15 and older due to a baby boom. It's only happening due to immigration. Now, those numbers would be lower than a year or two ago, but they're still quite high. 32,000 people per month coming into the country and added to the labor force. That doesn't include children and people that aren't in the labor force. So that's an increase. We can see from the real-time population clock that StatsCan has that we've added about 1 million people over the past 18 months. How many over the past 3 months, 6 months? We don't know. We are not being told the proper information, and I think Michelle Rempel is right. The government's doing this for political reasons. They realize that they messed up the system that Canadians used to support wholeheartedly, and now they're dealing with a system that is broken, one that has become controversial, one that has become a lightning rod, and the reason it is all those things is because of bad Liberal policy. Are the Liberals going to fix it, or are they just going to keep hiding the numbers or fudging the numbers? We'll see what happens when they finally start releasing the data shortly, whatever that means.
So there you have it. It's like the guy or not. That's accurate. And why are they?
I've never.
Why are they?
I don't even know.
Why? Why? No, but why? Why are they not releasing the numbers? Why are they telling us that immigration is low, yet they have tens of thousands of new people entering the job market? And like you said, we don't have a generational boom like the boomers right now. We don't. Where does our growth come from? It's immigration. It's not. Canadians are not producing enough kids. Like I'm gonna go on a podcast with a woman, and she has 8 kids. Like I'm like, God damn. So that's not the case anymore, right? This is
when
not.
You go, is that later today?
No. It's just that we had a conversation for the first time yesterday because she specializes in training women to be feminine, but she embraces that men needs to be masculine. So she wants me on her podcast because she saw me on Jubilee and she wanted me to go talk to the women out there. But the point of the matter is that I'm just using her as an example because she told me yesterday, she's like, oh, I have 8 kids, by the way, because I was holding my son. If it's not being streamed anywhere, I was just holding him because he's fucking 5 weeks old. Everything pisses him off. He's always crying. So I'm just holding him. And she's like, oh, this is so pretty. I've had 8 of those. I'm like, God damn. God.
That's wild.
God damn.
So, but to what this Brian Lilly guy said, yeah, I don't know who this is. I've never heard him before, but I get the I get it. He has stupid hair for sure. But as you said,
he looks like Tintin. That is so true.
Yeah. But yeah, the argument has to, we can assess it in and of on its own merits, regardless of who said it. And everything he said to me sounds legit. Even the things he said, where he was talking about Canadians used to support our immigration system. This was up until Justin Trudeau got elected. There was wide and broad bipartisan support of the immigration system, and the Liberals fucked it up. And they have no one to blame but themselves. And is this more of the same? Is this like why are they not releasing the data? Clearly they have the data. You can't tell me they don't know who came in. So the very fact that they are not releasing it is in and of itself suspicious.
That's pretty much what that whole thing is showing me. Why are you not releasing it? Because technically it should be a quarterly thing. That means June. That means we should have had numbers last month. Because that's what happens, right? They end in March, May or April. Normally April, I would imagine. April, May, you start seeing those numbers. Now we don't see them. Why?
Yep.
What's going on? And the fact that he got called, that he reached out to IRCC and they basically told him, oh, we're revamping the way we present.
Why? Just tell us the numbers. We don't need you we don't need you to
I'll take notepads. I'll take a notepad. Copy paste into a format on a website. I'm okay with that.
We don't need you to revamp it for us. Just tell us what they are. That's all. It is what it is.
Yep. It's all a hoax.
It's all a hoax. There's no mass immigration going on. The thing is, we all know what's going on, and they admit that it's going on. So they admit that they got it wrong. So just fucking rip off the Band-Aid and just give us the fucking numbers.
But I see this is another conversation I'd be curious to have with liberal people. Like most of my audience I don't think it's hard to believe that my audience are not liberal. So I don't,
of course,
I don't get, obviously,
yeah.
I don't get to speak to a lot of liberals directly unless it's in real life. But I'd be very curious to ask the liberals out there that voted for Carney if they are happy with our immigration policies, if they understand how open borders will affect absolutely every single service out there when you live in a socialist place, because it is socialist, right? Like, I hate the term, but Canada is very socialist. We are a welfare state, and we have open borders. Those are facts. We can't really argue that. But I'd be curious to see the liberals out there. Do they even realize that? Are they starting to realize that? That's why they're not producing the numbers right now, because they don't want to go down that path, because people are getting pissed off at it. Because I'm starting to see more and more people out there speak about this. People that don't necessarily consider themselves conservative, but they're not liberals either. Like, they didn't vote for Carney. But I'm starting to see, just like Lily was saying, it used to be our immigration used to be something that we could potentially call proud of. Like, Canadians were proud of it, and we were happy that we were a place that people wanted to come to. But we had expectations, as in you assimilate, you be part of the Canadian culture, you don't get social services right off the bat. But now that it's an open border policy, we're starting to see that, is Dr. Watley that was saying, speaking about healthcare, that it's not immigration that destroyed our healthcare system. We've had problems with our healthcare system for as long as I can remember, but it is the thing that's going to break the camel's back.
Yeah, I could see that. I probably agree with that. And it's funny because, as Lily said there, the Liberal Party does acknowledge that it's gone wrong, but I don't really hear much in the way of solutions, right? You know, we've heard Mark Carney talk a little bit about it, but we ran the numbers here on the show, and his solution still had what, 800,000 newcomers a year.
Between 800 to 1.2 mil, depending who you calculate. Yeah,
that's still too many. That's still way, way, way too many.
The only one that talked about it in a way that I agree with is Maxime Bernier, saying we need a momentum, I think is the term he used, to just say we're done, close it off for a year or two, reevaluate who's here. Are they part of Canadian culture? Did they assimilate? Are they still living on the welfare? Like, are they still living on our taxpayers' money? Like, are we supporting them? Because remember those the 50,000 Syrians that Trudeau came in. Moratorium. Yes, that's the term. Thank you, Sylvie. So if you look at the 50,000 Syrian that Trudeau brought in years ago, like more than a half of them are still on welfare. Like, we're still taking care of them. They still haven't assimilated.
I mean, something's gone wrong there.
But that's my point. So it used to be a big deal out of those 50,000, but we bring in hundreds of thousands of them every year now.
Yeah.
How many of those are? So this is what I'm really curious to see what it's going to take for the liberal, the people that consider themselves lefties, to wake up to the fact that open borders in a welfare state does not work, cannot happen. You can have one or the other. That's it. Have one or the other.
Yep, agreed. Bumpy says, this is a good point. Part of the issue is the word assimilation has become a dirty word. Libs define it as having to abandon your culture and embrace a new one. In reality, you don't have to abandon culture. Yeah, that's correct. The political left has made it. They'll call you racist if you expect assimilation from newcomers, which is, of course, nonsense, because it never was about abandoning your culture. You know, bring the parts of your culture, bring your food,
especially your
dress,
food, especially
your food, your dress, your holidays. That's great. Meld it with Canadian culture, and we can have some tapestry that of harmonious tapestry that works, or whatever. But the political left has called you racist if you expect assimilation, and frankly, that's bullshit. There's nothing wrong with expecting assimilation from newcomers. Just like I would expect to assimilate if I moved to fucking Saudi Arabia or Iran or any country with a different culture. I wouldn't demand that I keep, that I form enclaves with other Canadians and other Westerner societies within society and never assimilate and never integrate into my host country's society. And of course, they would never allow that either. It's only in the West who are stupid enough to allow this.
Sylvie basically is going, but Canadians for Canadians, Irish for the Irish, France for the French, India for the Indians. Like, just that, I agree with it 1,000%. But just saying that out loud now, I'm a racist, right?
Yeah.
How dare I say that Canada should be for Canadians, that France should be for French people, that India should be filled with Indians? How the fuck?
Yeah,
but that's racist. It's fucking racist.
And of course, what the left does now is, when you ask why, when they say, "Oh, that's racist," and you say, "Well, how is that racist?" and they can't explain it, they'll just say, "Oh, it's a dog whistle. It's a dog," and that's all you have to say. Because how can you argue against that? It's a dog whistle. It's a dog whistle. How can you argue against that?
Bumpy, I agree. If I moved to Germany, I wouldn't expect everybody to deal with my English. I'd learn German. Doesn't mean I'd never speak English.
Of course not. Of course not. But you would expect to have to learn the language, like any normal, like it's a reasonable thing to expect to have to do if you move to another country. You're not going to go there and try to change everything, because if you hate everything about that country, why would you be there in the first place?
Yep, I agree. Prairie saying drove by the low-income housing, town housing. Yeah, okay, it wasn't me.
Yep.
So drove by the low-income housing town last week. All immigrants living there now. We build those for Canadians, not immigration housing.
Yeah.
Again, it's racist to point that out, Prairie. Just so you know, that's racist.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like it's not even that hard to fix immigration policy. You just have to have the balls to do it. One is stop giving social benefits to people there has to be some sort of a period of time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years before you're eligible for those benefits. That's completely reasonable. Two, apply a values test to make sure that you have the same values as we in the West here do. Three, don't just allow anyone in. Bring in people that bring skills, are educated, are young families. but we don't do any of that.
I like this one from Joe. My grandparents did not assimilate. Even their tombstone were written in Polish. Their children grew up American. But that's the thing. See, I don't necessarily have a problem with what you're saying there. They were not. Let me ask you this, Joe. Were your parents trying to change the culture? No.
Yes.
One, did they love America? Two, did they try to change the culture?
Because they're grateful to be here.
Now, if I move, I've always wanted to go to Japan. That is one of my biggest dreams. If I were to stay there for a while, I'd learn Japanese. But if I were to die there, I'd probably have my tombstone in French or in English because that's those are my main languages, right? So I don't see a problem with that. But I would embrace their culture. I wouldn't go to Japan trying to change their culture, making it more like mine where I came from. Because why the fuck would I leave my country in the first place if that's what I'm trying to do? This is the part that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. And the left has no problem with Japan being Japanese. How dare they?
And that's kind of what we were talking about yesterday. You know, according to the political left, everyone else is allowed to have their culture and be proud of it. But here in the West, we have to be ashamed of our culture. Like, we can only talk about the colonization that the West has done. We cannot talk about the colonization that everyone else has done, and almost every other culture has done it.
One of the things I find because I lived just outside Brampton. I lived in Mississauga, which is in between Brampton. It's connected to Brampton. It's just west of Toronto. So I lived there for 4 years ish, between four. Yeah, I would say about 4 years. And it is so true. Like some of the places around Toronto, man. It's
I've heard. I haven't been to Brampton in a long time.
This is going to be bad. What I'm going to say, but we call it Browntown. This is how it's called.
I have heard that.
But if you go in Brampton, bro, even most Mississauga now, if you go there, you are a minority as a white guy, like a very big minority.
So a couple of years back, I used to date a girl during COVID, and she ended up moving to Toronto to take a job actually in Mississauga. But one thing that I know, she told me it was so weird when she was looking for a place to live, is how many ads were up there saying must be brown or must be Indian, no white people. And again, that's imagine if the roles are reversed. It would never be acceptable. So how can it be acceptable? How can that be acceptable? And it's just, again, with the current state of the political left, it's entirely okay to be racist against white people, as long as you're racist against the right people. And that we can't have that. We cannot have that attitude in society. You just can't.
See, Alberta, Nan, I don't know that I've ever seen your name before, but welcome aboard. Hopefully you stick around, as you like to say. We're moving to Mexico. We're going to embrace the Mexican culture. It doesn't mean that we lose who we are coming from Canada. We're not going there expecting Canadians to become Canadian, expecting Mexicans to become Canadians. Exactly my point. Nobody's saying, you know what? I love food. I fucking love Indian food. I fucking love Mexican food. I love Thai food. I love a lot of fucking food. I love fucking food. My stomach drives me. I love fucking food. Nobody's saying I want you to bring it. I want you to bring your fucking culture with you.
Culture, the traditions.
But trying to change the country that is hosting you into the country you came from is the part I don't understand. Like, why leave your country in the first place? That's all we're saying. So I agree with you, Alberta, Nan. You know, when I saw that, I love Indian food so much. When I saw NAN, my brain went to naan right away. I'm like, oh man, I could eat naan bread right now. God damn, I love that stuff.
Bumpy.
Oh, Wasaga Beach.
Who poops beach.
Have you ever been to Wasaga Beach? It's actually
I have. It was cool. I went there a long time ago. It was it was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, like 7-8 years ago, I think, is when I went to. There was no poop. There was no human poop on the beach when I went, at least.
Yeah.
Let's finish with something funny.
Yeah, we got one more.
Well, this one's for you. This one is 100% for you. That is the story from the Minnesota Viking adding 2 guys as part of their cheerleading squads. And it is not what you imagine. It is not 2 big boys. They're going to be throwing
strapping young men. Yeah.
They're not strapping young men. Well, maybe they're strapping something, but they're not strapping young men. But here, they might be strapping something. I don't know. I am not going to assume to know. But here is something that was posted.
No,
And,
come the fuck on.
and this is the Vikings.
On.
This I wanted to scroll down. I want to show you. This is on
So
TikTok. This is the
official.
Is it gay? Very, very gay. Gay. This is. I just want to show you before I show you something else. This is the official Viking TikTok account. So it's not a dude like me that's bitching that did some AI tricks. This came from
they thought this
Viking themselves.
A good thing to put out.
So here are the two dudes that are joining the team. Hold on, let me there you go.
Yeah, oh my Okay, not what I thought when you said they took on added a male cheerleader. I was thinking the big strong dudes that like toss them around.
So there was just one displayed there because the new edition is a brand new edition, and I'm not referring to the gay group from the 90s or for the 2000, whatever the fuck new edition's from. But here's another post that I found on Instagram that kind of shows you a bit more who are those strappy young men that are joining the cheerleading crew, the Minnesota Vikings. So yeah, those are the guys right there. So there you go. We're a bit closer. So those are the individual right here that you see on the left. Just gonna play the video.
Let her ride in the forest with me.
Why do they do this, man?
It's the Minnesota Vikings. So Tim Walz, remember the woke of the woke, where they need tampon. Timmy Tampon wanted to put tampons in the men's bathrooms because men can menstruate. Remember? So yeah.
I don't understand why. Like, has the marketing departments of all these companies not gotten the hint yet? Like, people don't. This shit doesn't fly.
Okay, hold on. Is it Minnesota? Fuck, am I full of shit there? Hold on.
Minnesota, yeah, Vikings.
No. But is it Tim Walz? I just said Tim Walz. I just want to make sure I don't. I'm an asshole, but I'd like to be based on real information. I'm sorry. Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota. Okay, so it is the Timmy Tampon state that just has two really gay looking, and they were referred to as gay. See, they are gay, and the cheerleading squad of the Minnesota Viking. Love it.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's terrible marketing. Like I kind of go with Joe here. It says, hey, at least he's there as a male. You know, albeit not the masculine. Yeah, like as long as they're not calling him a woman or female, I don't have a personal issue with it. I'm not gonna get upset. It's a private company; they can do whatever. But it's just 100%. Like, why? What are you guys thinking? You guys are morons. Like,
I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm not saying either they shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, why the fuck are they doing it? Like, are they really that dumb to fail to understand that
even
this
if they
is
lost
not their
even if that was one season ticket holder, is it worth it? Like, what are you trying to do here? Like, what is the value proposition? It's not like I don't know. But they're free to do whatever they want with the brand. As long as he's it's all good until a wardrobe malfunction.
There's just a ball that starts sticking.
Yeah. No, and I mean, Mr. Doctor, I wonder if the male cheerleader gets you the same dressing room as female cheerleaders. I would assume not. Because
actually, no, I saw a video that one of the two guys was actually wearing the same.
Okay, well then I would have a problem. I would have a problem with that. Like that, I would say that is an actual issue. But
it's a private company. They can do whatever the fuck they want. It's their money. At the end of the day, you want to do it, that's your right.
But it just makes you wonder where, like, the HR department apparently is taking over marketing departments, and it seems like we kind of have shifted the other direction with ads starting to look like ads again. Actually selling, attractive people to sell products. But I guess there's still going to be a little bit of this nonsense here.
Did you see, the what's her name, Sydney Sweeney?
Yep. Oh yeah. They are.
So the other day she posted a video of her shooting guns. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
actually, she seemed pretty damn good at shooting guns. So I'm like, if you want to really piss off the left, make sure that the next move is that she says she's Christian. The left is going to lose her shit. I was
think
watching the video. I'm like, I was just watching. So she's a good looking girl that is not ashamed to be white, that will not back
Blonde
down
hair, blue eyes.
from the
Yeah.
backlash that the company she works with is doubling down. I don't know if you saw some of the emails, but they're basically some of their posts is
Eagle.
like,
Yep.
oh, you're not happy? Boom. But
Yeah.
I posted about it a couple of days ago because what's her name? Rosie O'Donnell. Was it Rosie O'Donnell was complaining about this? I'm like, bitch,
Yes,
please.
yes.
They
Fuck
don't make
off.
anything above size 16. Your fat ass doesn't fit
Yeah,
in
it's
American
not for
Eagle.
you.
You're not boycotting shit. But
Not for you, bro.
you know what? If the Minnesota Viking wants to do that and destroy their brand by doing it, that's fine by me. But at the same time, you can't go around and bitch that what American Eagle and Sweeney are doing is wrong either. Because they're talking to their public. They're not. If you don't do above size 16, guess what? obese women are not fitting in your clothes. So that you're not the target audience. Either way, you're not the target audience. So if one's okay, you can't complain about the other.
Yeah. It's exactly right. You can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Well, I'm pretty sure those guys take it both ways.
Oh yeah.
Hey-o.
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 So Robbie is jealous because he didn't make the cut. Yeah, I was the last one cut. I almost made it. I almost made it.
Hey-o.
Go Vikings.
No, you're not. You look pretty gay for a dude, but not for a liberal dude. Those guys are like on the other side.
Yeah, I fucking.
Oh yes. On
Fat jeans and jeans.
note.
On that note, guys, we are going to put a pin in it. Thank you for joining us. Excellent conversations as always today. Guys, you could have been anywhere in the world today. You chose to be here with us, and we will always appreciate that. If you want to support the show, first of all, definitely remember to like and share through YouTube. That's the bare minimum. But if you really want to support the show and help build the community, what we're doing here, you can become a member for the low price of $2.99 a month. And that will, of course, help support the community, help support independent media, which apparently is what we are these days. Other than that, folks, have an excellent rest of your day. Be safe, have fun, and we will catch you tomorrow's show at noon Eastern time.